This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue to cover this story unfolding in Aurora, Colorado. There has been a shooting. 12 people are now reported dead. That number could go higher. 38 others are reported wounded, in some cases very gravely, very critically injured. We've been showing you pictures of what is believed to be the suspect's apartment, and what you see, let's take some live pictures of that, because we've seen the ladder truck all morning as the law enforcement been trying to gain access or work around the window of the apartment complex. It's that apartment complex right there that you're looking at, and one of the things that we want to figure out is what exactly they're doing there. The law enforcement talked about items of interest inside the apartment, and the suspect, according to police, also mentioned that the apartment might be booby-trapped or that there were explosives inside. I want to get to Tom Fuentes. He's a former FBI assistant director. Tom, I'm looking at these pictures. This is the apartment complex. Law enforcement using that ladder truck to try to work at the window. First, I thought they were trying to gain access that way. It sounds as if they've gotten access because they've talked about items of interest, but at the same time, they're moving very carefully. Can you tell me what might be going on here?
Hi, Soledad. Well, a good possibility is that they're trying to have some type of video device inserted through the window. Normally, SWAT teams arrive. They have a great deal of technical equipment with them, which includes basically fiber optic lenses that can be inserted through tiny holes to look around the inside of that building. Devices such that a proctologist might use, to be blunt. So that may be what they're trying to do, is insert video devices safely through a hole in the window or under doors to see what's inside, make sure there's no one else inside, and see if they can see any obvious signs of a booby trap or some other explosive device or precursor chemicals on the site.
The suspect told police that he potentially had explosives in his apartment, which was what brought them to that address, and we know that the SWAT team has set up some kind of perimeter. So those would be members of the SWAT team who are trying to gain entrance using the the fire department ladder to get entrance. You know, I talked to a woman, an eyewitness who lives across the street, and one of the things that she described was some kind of a boom, which to her sounded like an explosion. Probably could have been that, or maybe been something else. She described the evacuation process. They were told to stay, 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 and then suddenly told to quickly evacuate. That would be an indication. She said they were told that they were looking for bomb-making material. By the time they're evacuating people sort of nearby, would that be an indication to you that in fact bomb-making material has been found? And also, Tom, I got to mention, we're now seeing a much closer picture, and we really can see it's FBI agents, in fact, who are trying to get through that window in some capacity, and are really don't want to necessarily, this is tape, not necessarily trying to bring themselves through the window, but using long prodding devices, I think, to confirm what you've been saying, trying to figure out how to rip out that window and then maybe gain entrance with the gear first and not put anybody at risk.
Right, there's a couple of issues with this. There may have been somebody else in that apartment that he shot and killed before he left to go to the movie theater, or killed by some other means. So you have that possibility that they want to make sure that there's no one inside there, but you also have the possibility, if he bragged about having explosives, that he may have rigged that apartment to have an explosion when the police or FBI try to enter it. So right now you have an abundance of caution on the part of the FBI trying to keep their people safe, but yet do the job they have to do at that scene.
What she described, an eyewitness named Rebecca, as a boom, could that have been a door being kicked in? We haven't had any confirmation of an explosion at this point yet, and you certainly don't see firefighters or, gaining entry to the building to put out any kind of a, aftermath of an explosion.
Yes, it seems unlikely that the authorities would use an explosive device that soon in this scenario, because it could trigger other chemicals to explode if they did that. So we may have had a case where they just banged in a door using breaching equipment or something that made that kind of a noise in the apartment. But the fact that we haven't seen smoke coming out of the building or other apartment dwellers reporting hearing explosions makes me wonder if maybe it was a non-explosive event in that building.
All right, Tom Fuentes joining us this morning. Thanks, Tom, for all your insight. We certainly appreciate it. I want to mention that President Obama is now saying he's going to address the shooting at his first event of the day, which is at 11:20 a.m. That's Eastern Time. It's happening in Fort Myers, Florida. Obviously, we're going to bring those remarks to you when the president starts speaking. Christine has an update on what's happening at the various area hospitals which have been taking in patients all morning.
And we know they've been in surgery. There are some patients who are still in critical condition here. We know that it's a wide range of victims and patients, both who have survived this attack and those who perished in it. 3 months old is the youngest. That child, we're told, at University Hospital is doing okay. A 3-month-old baby, the youngest to go to the hospital because of this. 45 years old is the oldest patient. That 3-month-old baby at University Hospital is fine. At Swedish Hospital, they have had 3 admissions. 2 are in surgery. Another admission expected any moment here right now. 2 of those people at Swedish Hospital are in critical condition. At Children's Hospital, there are 6 patients aged 6 to 31. And I'm telling you, a small child being carried out, not moving in the arms of a police officer. Several witnesses reported seeing that coming out of theater number 9. Just heartbreaking. We don't know what happened to that little child who came out lifeless, basically, in a police officer's arms, but we're following that very closely.
So there are many things, obviously, that we're getting from law enforcement today. We've seen the live pictures as they try to get access in some way into that apartment, whether it's to feel their way in, as Tom was mentioning, that maybe it's a way to insert cameras and try to see what exactly is inside the suspect's apartment building. Also trying to update accurately the number of those who are dead and injured. Those who are injured stood at 38, but of course some of them gravely, so we expect those numbers could definitely change. There are reports, in fact, that the 10 people who were killed inside the theater, that they have not removed those bodies yet, that they remain in the theater.
This will rank as one of the worst mass shootings in American history. Virginia Tech, 32 were killed. Columbine, I think 13 were killed. This is obviously timed for a very busy, packed movie theater, midnight showing of one of the most highly anticipated movies in a very, very long time. When you talk about the demeanor and the dress of the suspected shooter, just a devastating, devastating few hours it's been.
We're getting word from Warner Brothers, and we should mention, of course, those are corporate cousins here of Time Warner, which owns CNN, and they are saying that they have canceled the Paris premiere of Dark Knight Rises, and I believe it wouldn't surprise me if some other premieres across the nation and across the globe were canceled, as well as they try to deal with the aftermath. The investigation obviously really begins right now. We have pictures of the suspect's white car. That car has been, it continues to be examined by law enforcement as they try to figure out how he transported the materials into, that's the car right there, that white vehicle, into the theater. We know that now 4 guns were removed, one an AK type weapon, an assault weapon that, as law enforcement officials told us this morning, could do tremendous damage to 2, 3, 4 people cut down at one time. And then, of course, the investigation continues at the suspect's apartment complex. They've evacuated neighbors around that complex, and inside we see a ladder, and as they try to figure out exactly how to carefully enter that complex with the SWAT team and FBI poking at the window and working at the window, trying to see if, as some pointed out, maybe it's booby trapped. What is inside? The suspect apparently telling police that he had other explosives. CNN obviously continues coverage of this breaking news event. We continue with CNN Newsroom. Frederica Whitfield picks up our coverage right now.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We were watching a movie, and like as one of the action scenes started up, like gunshots were firing, and like we heard like explosions or something like to our left.
It was just chaos. You saw injured people. There was this one guy who was on all fours crawling. There was this girl spitting up blood.
Gas bombs as they were leaving, and then just gunshots all over the place. And it started in the theater that I had bought tickets to.
Horror and tragedy in Aurora, Colorado this morning after a mass shooting at a Batman movie premiere. So far, 12 dead and 38 injured as the community searches for answers. A special edition of the CNN Newsroom starts right now. Hello, everyone. I'm Frederica Whitfield in for Carol Costello. We welcome viewers from around the world watching on CNN International. A night at the movies turned into a night of terror for moviegoers in Colorado after a gunman opens up a rampage. Here's the latest of what we know. Gunshots erupted just outside of Denver in an Aurora, Colorado theater during an early morning screening of The Dark Knight Rises. That is the new Batman movie. Police say 12 people are dead, 38 more wounded. A 3-month-old baby is among the wounded. Police have a suspect in custody, a young man. A witness saw Batman burst into the theater.
Somebody kicked in the emergency exit and started throwing gas grenades and started shooting something people at random.
We said movie theater number 9?
Number 9, which was the one I was in.
So what'd you do?
At first, it took me a second to realize what was actually going on. And as people were running away, I hit the ground so I wouldn't be hit.
Somebody threw gas grenades.
Yeah. That's all I saw. I heard the sound of metal canisters clinking around, and then I saw plumes of smoke.
A federal law enforcement official says the suspect had 4 weapons, a rifle, a shotgun, and 2 handguns. Officials say he acted alone. Police searched the suspect's residence, believed that there may be more explosives there. No explosives have been found. We expect to hear more from police at a news conference in just a few hours. The shooting happened inside the Century 16 movie theater in Aurora. This is a suburb of Denver. A short time ago, reporter Suzanne McCarroll from our affiliate KCNC spoke to a teenage witness.
You know, this is one of the younger witnesses we've met so far. This is 15-year-old William. Tell me what happened. What was your view?
All I saw was a man bust open the entrance of the right corner, and he throws a tear grenade, and you know, we're thinking at that point it's part of the show. And, you know, but then we realized he started shooting out some rounds, and that's when we realized it was serious. There was a lot of screaming, and it was shocking.
How did you get out?
Well, it was about that time that he started going up the stairs and reloading. That's when I figured it was a big weapon, and we just kind of crawled down the stairs and we ran. We just ran out the theater.
How close to you was he?
He was kind of at a far distance, but, you know, close enough to do some damage. So.
You're young, but you were such a philosopher a minute ago. This is not what you expect when you go to the movies.
It's not. Usually you go to the movies to, you know, have a fun night, relax. When something like this happens at a theater, you know, you just wonder if it's safe or not.
Well, moments after the shooting, eyewitnesses started taking video and pictures on their cell phones, and the images started going up online. Check this one out from inside the lobby of the theater. A better idea now of where this happened. The Aurora Mall in Aurora, Colorado. As we told you, the Century 16 movie theater, theater number 9 specifically. This is just a few miles outside of Denver. The suspect was found in the parking lot behind a theater in his car. And here's a chopper shot of the suspect's apartment complex in North Aurora, not far from the theater, just a couple of miles, we understand. That building has been evacuated this morning while police search for possible explosives, because apparently the suspect told officers that there might be explosives in that unit, but none so far have been found. Aurora police tell CNN that one man is in custody and that there is no evidence of a second shooter. Here's what we can tell you about that suspected shooter right now. This gunman is a 24-year-old white male. He was wearing a bulletproof vest, a mask covering most of his face except for his eyes, according to eyewitnesses, and carrying 4 guns in all, one of which federal officials describe as an assault rifle. The same officials also say the suspect deployed tear gas just before firing into the crowd. The man was later apprehended in a parking lot at the rear of the... did not apparently resist arrest. A motive for this attack still unknown. Witnesses who either saw the shooter or spoke to those who did.